Hi everyone, welcome to the Modern Day Woman Show. I'm Al, I'm joined by my incomparable, magical, sexy ass women, Shauna, Amy, Sarah, Tiffany. Today, we're talking about raising kids in the modern society. What's one thing you never knew before having kids?
So I was raised like my mum was quite strict, and I wouldn't say that we were friends by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like me and my daughter, I feel like she is actually my best friend, and I feel like I wish I'd have known that it's okay to not constantly be a disciplinarian or be on your kid's case all the time. Like, it's actually okay to be good friends with your kids, you know. That's what I wish I'd have known.
I feel like one thing we didn't get told was we don't have to pass on what we were taught or how we were raised, which is one thing that I just changed massively when I became a mum. I just literally watched what everyone did around me and just thought I'm doing the complete opposite.
I think apart from all the things you've said, like one of the main things for me, because my son has extra needs, is that I didn't know that the education system is just so shit for children that do have extra needs.
Tiffany?
Yeah, I think I'd identify very much with Shauna. My son has additional needs. And before being a mom, you just think you have kids and everything's going to be amazing, but nobody actually tells you, probably because nobody around me has experienced it, that sometimes it's not going to be all okay, and there'll be challenges and stuff that you never expected. So I wish I knew more about that side of things.
For me, it's the intensity, the overwhelming intensity, day in, day out, and it's forever.
Do you know what it is as well? It's like when you're pregnant, you think, I'm going to have a baby. You don't ever think, I'm going to have a 9-year-old. You don't think 100%. I'm going to have a 12-year-old. You just think about the baby,
is
really.
The birth.
You're never not responsible. So even when you have got the weekend off or you have got time off, you still, like, I've been on holiday without my son and it's still like, I can never feel free again. And I know that sounds quite bad, but I will never feel free again.
Because my son only has me, in the sense of like parents, like me being his mom, his dad's passed away. I feel like even in that sense, like you said, when I got pregnant, all I thought is, I'm having a child, I'm bringing him into this world. I didn't realise all the experiences, and I feel like it's okay to get it wrong as well. Like, you don't have, it's okay to feel down. For me, I don't know anybody else's situation, it isn't a job, because I feel like a job, I've got a choice to go to work, whatever. My son is, when I brought him into this world, I made that commitment that it's me and him, like, do you know what I mean?
I think it is a job having a child, just because even though you can't, I wouldn't, people do sometimes walk away, even though I wouldn't walk away from it, even though the hours, you're not paid for it, even though all of these factors that I agree with you on, it is a job, because it takes my time, it takes my love, attention and affection. I want to do the best at the job that I'm doing with my son. And again, because my son has additional needs, the amount of appointments I have to phone for him, the amount of doctor's appointments you have to go to, like, there's a long list of things. That is a job.
I agree. I have, like, obviously the same with my son with his like CAMS appointments and stuff, but I feel like when it comes to loving my son isn't a job. It's just organic and it's naturally there.
It's the work.
It's the work that goes into raising.
I understand the work that goes into raising them, but I just still don't see me being a mother
It is essentially, though, yes, if we've had the child ourselves, adopted them, fostered them, it is essentially unpaid labour at the end of the day.
I don't see it as unpaid labour. I see it as me. I see it as me raising my child, not do you know what I mean? Like,
do you know what it is? Is you agree with us and we agree with you, you just don't want to put the word job on it.
Because it's not a job. Me raising my son isn't a job.
But what we're saying is
my
the
life.
job.
It's to you, but to me, it's my life. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that it's easy. It's an easy lifestyle. It's an easy journey. Like my son only really has me as a parent. Like he has loads of people that love him and care for him, but as a mom, he only has me.
Maybe it's
so
not
I
a
don't
job,
see it
but it
as
is work.
What I see as a job, like I don't see that with my son.
Would you
as
agree
a job.
that it's work?
I have to put work in. Obviously, I have to get up, have to make him his breakfast, get him to school. He has additional needs, so I have to get him to all these appointments. But I just don't see it as a job.
I think it's a job, and I think it's the most undervalued job.
It's relentless.
Relentless.
Yeah.
You don't get paid for it, and you don't get recognised for it.
100%.
And I think a lot of people don't get
Because
well
I
done
feel
for
like
it. 'Cause you know
when
in a job
you're a
you
mum,
work
you
your way
come
up.
into this, like when you decide to have a child, like you're saying we don't get paid for it, all of this, but when you have a child, like we don't know what obviously life's going to bring us, but you know that you're bringing a child into this world and that's now your life. Like, I just don't see it as a job,
Sarah,
personally.
is parenting a job?
I don't think so.
You don't?
I kind of agree with both of yous, all of yous, really, like what you said. I agree, it's not a job. I wouldn't say it's a job. Like I fully enjoy my children, every part of them, but it is hard. And it's hard juggling a job and being a mum and trying to keep a house running and trying to stay sane and trying to be beautiful and trying to get me dick. And, you know, trying to get me fanny sucked. It's all a lot, do you know what I mean? It is a lot to take on as one person. And I just feel like nobody actually understands. Because to be honest, okay, I understand we all have to juggle like going to work and that. But you know how hard it is to get your kid minded for a dick appointment?
And twins as well. No, I don't think that you should smack your children.
Let's have a quick round.
A smack, yeah.
Yeah.
From my childhood, from things you're exposed to on TV, from my own background, I have been in situations where with my kids, which I'm completely ashamed of, where I have like on instinct given them a tap and carry that with me and feel fucking awful. And it's not, I've never, left a mark on them, or it's not a but it's not, I'm not okay with it.
Do you know what? So sorry to be, I think now, I've just changed, I've just really had to think about it, and no, I would never smack my son, because I think I've done research into this, and I think as a black woman and coming from a black culture, I think a lot of that actually comes from slavery. I know that goes really, really deep, but we've learnt that from slavery, and it's just carried on. I think there's much more effective ways that we can discipline our children without actually hitting them. So when I actually think about it, no, I wouldn't actually smack my son. If he's got a phone, that's much more effective to take his phone away from him. If he's got his favourite toy, that's so much more effective ways than doing it than actually inflicting violence on him. Like, he wouldn't have that from me. I
understand what you're saying from a slavery point of view, but then there's white people that slap their kids.
Can I just explain why I really am completely anti-smacking?
Yes.
I was smacked as a kid. It was normal. I'm sure most of us growing up in the 90s, for me, it was completely normal. Everybody was smacked. But it was when I had my own kid that I actually go into, and I did research it. I researched gentle parenting and what I want for my kid. And the issue with smacking is that, number one, it makes violence okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And if you have a daughter, have a daughter and you punish her by hitting her, what does that teach her for the rest of her life? How can you say anything if she gets into a relationship with somebody that hits her?
I don't know how to feel about that, because I used to get some licks when I was younger, and I've never been in a relationship where anyone's put their hands on me, and I just feel like...
But it does make those people more...
It does, but then I just feel like...
They justify it to themselves in their head.
It depends on you're right, but I would never be in a relationship and have anybody put their hands on me and accept it because I was slapped as a child.
But I think with smacking, it has much more to do with the parent than the child. I think a lot of parents hit their children out of frustration. I know that when I was growing up, the only time that I got hit was when my mum was... it's through frustrating, through their own anger and through their own issues. It wasn't actually to do with the child, because if you were thinking in your right mind and you were so angry and weren't so frustrated,
you can just talk it.
You would talk it through. You would think about other ways to, you know, impose a punishment or letting your child know that is a wrong thing to do. I think it's literally out of their parents' frustration not to do.
I
with
think
the child.
it's generational.
Yeah.
Definitely generational.
But do you know what it is as well? It's like the act of hitting. Say your kid does something and you hit them. Does that make them scared of doing what they did? Or does it make them scared of you?
Yeah.
Does that make them scared of you hitting them? Because actually that is what it is. They're scared to get hit. They're not scared to do something naughty. If they're doing something naughty and you sit down and you're like, that has really hurt my feelings and made me really upset. A lot of the time, kids are more responsive to that.
Yeah, definitely.
They don't want to upset your mum, the mum. But if you're hitting them and physically hurting them, that is just making them scared of getting hit.
Exactly.
Like, you know.
Yeah, you're very right. Once the twins were fighting once in the kitchen and I ran in, and they very rarely like scrap. This was like a physical scrap. And one of them was on the floor and the other one, as I walked in, was pulling his hand back. And I ran in and nearly like launched at both of them. And in my mind I thought, how can I punish them with violence for violence?
Yeah.
We've all felt mum guilt at one point or another. I don't know for you, lot.
Yeah.
Mine is continual. I'm an overthinker. I'm an existential thinker. I have anxiety. It is constant for me. Just even if it's just tiny, it's there whittling away at me. Shauna?
Yeah, I feel like having my own business and like always having clients, like recently I've basically just stopped working weekends now because I just thought I needed that time with my son.
Oh, I have got so much mum guilt. I had mum guilt from having the twins. I used to whisper to them at night like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry I picked your dad to be your dad. And I know that sounds horrible.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
But it just for me at that time, I just felt like he wasn't being as what I needed him to be for me and for them. And I felt like he properly let us down, and that made me feel sad for the twins and guilty because I made them with him. And I felt like he was good enough to lie down with and make children with. Which he, obviously without him I wouldn't have got me boys. But I just that's me guilt. I just feel like I've let them down.
My mum guilt manifests in different ways. So, say for example, because I work to provide loads of nice things for him and just to give him an amazing lifestyle that I probably didn't have, and it manifests. Say for example, if I've been working all week and I've got a day off. Sometimes I still send him into nursery.
That's not like bad.
Self-care ain't selfish, babe.
At all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes I still send him to nursery and I think, oh my gosh, I should have had him for that day. And also with him, like he does a lot of physiotherapy just to get him stronger. And some days like we don't do it, and then I just think, oh, there's so much more I could have got done today. And also when he's watching a bit too much telly.
The tablets.
So that's why I try and make it that he only watches 1 hour of telly a day, just because it makes sure I interact with him and making sure that I'm, you know, teaching him and
but it's
just
hard.
not sitting in front of the telly. But some days you just think
it's hard.
Splitting up with their dad. I remember like it was like week 3 into it, and I was really sad, and I dropped them off with him, and I went to a shop to distract myself from the sadness, and I went to get into bed, and my brain just went, you're only going to get half of their childhood now. You're only going to get 50% of their life now. And I cried, and I cried, and I cried for hours.
It's so true when you do split 50-50 custody and then
now,
outside your home, you'll miss the days.
now they're going back to school, so let's make it 25%.
I know.
stop.
I know.
I break my own heart every day, and it's
But then it's mad when I hear women speak like that, because then it's like, I wish my son had that from his like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you know when you talk about the 50-50? Like, he's got so many people that love him, but the facts will still remain that he doesn't have a dad. Do you know what I mean? So it's like...
Sometimes I've
wished, but you
Don't
shouldn't.
say it.
say it, please say it.
So,
you
no,
know
I won't
what
say
I
it.
mean?
I felt guilt. Recently, I felt guilt. I've literally just come out of like a big ball of depression. And I felt guilty for that because I felt like I literally couldn't get out of bed. And
Yeah.
the boys were slowly becoming my carers and like prompting me to like get up, mum, and you know, and I felt so
guilty.
bad.
Yeah.
No,
But then,
yeah.
and I feel like it's not their fault that my beginning to life was shit, and that throughout my life I've had shit things happen to me. It's not their fault. It just so happens that my depression falls on a time where they're old enough to notice it, and
no, Sarah, I have to agree. Like, there's been times where I've been so low, even depressed, and as little as my son is, he's 2. He picks up on that and it changes him.
they do.
And like,
they
you
do.
know, you try not to cry in front of them because you're completely broken, and you can tell that this little boy is picking this up. Like, I feel terrible, but you can't.
It's true. Like the other day, I was crying, and my son's come in my bedroom, and he's literally just hugged me, and I just thought, I was like, I'm okay, like, because I don't want him to like. Do you know what? He shouldn't have that role to hug me. Yeah.
Do you know what? It's not a burden.
Like
It's not a burden. It's teaching them about compassion.
Yeah.
It's teaching them
I
about
would agree with
people
that.
go through waves in life.
Yeah.
It is normal. It's less ideal for them to see a perfect little happy bubble all the time that is unrealistic. You know, it's okay for them to see you being human.
it does, because it just feels like you
want
to give them all the happiness, so you don't want.
I get it. I have it as well.
When you see me cry or see
I know that it affects my son. When
you
he
can't
sees
tell
me
me,
cry.
but you can tell like he'll
Yeah.
get a bit more. He'll get a bit more
Clingy,
about things
yeah,
he wouldn't
yeah,
normally.
yeah.
He can sense my vibe.
What I've learned about myself since coming a mum is that actually I feel like a part of me was really made to be a mum. I feel as though it's unlocked this potential that I never knew existed, and it's like this lioness that was just sleeping inside me is now out in full force, and I just feel I feel empowered. I feel stronger for my child. I feel like I could move a mountain for my child. So I just think I'm a sick mum, mate. Like
You are, bitch.
Yes.
You are.
I do.
Like everything Amy said, and that I'm strong, I'm resilient, I make shit happen regardless.
For me, resilience, like I do suffer with depression, and there's been points where I've thought I cannot like be any more in the void or lower than this point, and I never surrender, I never give up. It might be at a snail's pace, but I never lay down and die, and I love that about I am like, I could cry right now. I am so proud of myself.
Yeah, man, you should
For
be.
never giving up.
You should be, mum.
Don't start, because then I'll start and then we'll all start.
Don't cry, mum.
I wasn't expecting that to happen.
What have I learned about myself?
Great,
from being a mum? I've learned that my past doesn't define me as a person. I've learned that I can love whole and it doesn't have to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a pure love.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I have probably had it, but I've never felt it, like how I feel it from my boys. And I feel like you, I could move heaven and earth for them, and like you, climb out of depression for them. No, it's true, I've done it, I'm doing it. Yeah. And I feel like literally anything is possible with them two by my side. So I feel
100%.
I feel completely unstoppable with them as a mum.
Yeah, I would say the same as everyone else. The past 2 years has been a hard 2 years, but I just never give up because of him. I've learned true love, and I just know I'm such a strong woman. Like if you had told me the past 2 years would go down like this, and I would still get up every day, still smile, still feel joy, I would have said I would never do it before him, but seeing his face every day, I can literally conquer the world. I just never ever knew how strong I was, and it's just so empowering. There's nothing that I can't do, nothing that I will not do for him. So I am a strong mother, and I'm an amazing mother. Like I can say, like, the amount of time and attention and everything like that little boy gets. He's so blessed to have me, and I'm also blessed to have him. So I'm a great mommy, and I'm such a strong mommy.
Amen.
Amen, we're all good mums.
Oh.
Raising kids in modern society is not easy. What was deemed acceptable parenting at one point is now not, leaving a lot of us having to unlearn our own conditioning and relearn new ways of doing things, whilst trying to navigate all the challenges that come with being a parent. Kids are also exposed to way more than ever before, which can have an impact on their developing mind. They are bombarded with way more pressures and influences than we ever had when we were growing up, and helping them navigate that as a parent is no small task. The truth is, as a parent, you will get many things right and many things wrong. I've screwed up more times than I can count, as we all will. All you can do is try your best, own when you screw up, and make amends when you do so that they can see your humanness. When it comes down to it, if a child is loved and is raised with a strong sense of self-esteem, the other stuff will take care of itself. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe and like our channel, and you can also follow us on the Modern Day Woman Show on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter.